One of the most powerful queries you can create in Access is a parameter query, and that's what we're going to look at in this video lesson. A parameter query allows the user to input some information so that the query will find the records based on the information entered. It basically asks the user a question. As always, let's start by having a look at our data. We're going to use a members table, and that shows a list of all the members with the county they are in and what type of membership they've got, full, associate or junior. So we want to create a query so we can find out, for example, all the full members in Somerset or all the junior members in Devon. That's the kind of information we want to be able to pull up. So we'll create a query in the usual way in Design View. Add the table that we want to work with and add the fields that we're interested in. Okay, always check your data as you're building up your queries so you know where you're at. Yes, that looks good. Okay, so we could do this in the traditional way by typing in our criteria in the relevant field. So for county, we could type in Cornwall. And when we have a look at that, we'll see, yeah, we've filtered down for all the Cornwalls. Back into Design View, if we then want to find all the full memberships in Cornwall, we add that criteria there, check it up again, yeah, and we've got all the full members in Cornwall. That's great. So we could save this query, and then every time a user wants to find some membership details, they could run the query, go into Design View and change these criteria. Except most people don't know how to do that. They might just be data entry clerks. So we're going to build up a system, just delete those, so that it actually asks the user to input that information. And we do that by using square brackets around the outside of the question. So in the criteria field for county, I start with a square bracket and enter a question. Please enter the county, for example. Close the square bracket. So we've got square brackets at the beginning and then at the end. Now when we run our query, it asks us this question. It says enter the parameter value, please enter the country or county, and then we type that in. So the user would do that, click on OK, and there's the information filtered down. So if I save that as parameter, obviously you would use a better name than that, and close it down. Now when you've got your data entry clerks and they want to find all their members in a certain county, they can just double click the parameter query, type in the county they're interested in, oops, if they can spell, then click on OK, and the parameter query automatically inserts that into the criteria field for you. And there's the results, just Cornwall. Let's have a look at that in Design View and take things a little bit further. Because we can have more than one parameter, we can have more than one question. Let's enter a question in the membership type as well. Again, remember square brackets. Please enter member type and close the brackets. Let's run this and see what happens. Got our first question back again. Please enter the county. Now when we click on OK, the second question appears. Please enter the membership type. That was full. Click on OK, and there's all the full members in Cornwall. But close that down, save it, and then let's use the query again to find all the junior members in Somerset. So we just select the parameter query and then type in the details. So we'll put Somerset in there, and then membership type, let's look for junior, and OK. and there's all the junior members in Somerset. So that's a parameter query, which is basically just getting the query to ask you a question, or ask the user a question, and we put the question in square brackets. Let's build up another parameter query just by way of demonstration. This time we'll do it on the teams table. So again, we've got teams, the grounds that they play in, and the ground capacity. We'll build a query in design view, which table we're working with, and add the fields that we want to use. Check your data. That looks okay. Get a feel for what the data is. We've got ground capacities between about 7,000 and 12,000, 13,000. Okay, so we can use that information. Let's add a parameter query. Remember, we use square brackets. Please enter lowest capacity, because I want to use this so that the user can find all the grounds with a capacity larger than a certain size, so that when we run the parameter query, it asks us, please enter the lowest capacity. Let's put 9,000 in and see what that returns. Yep, just one there, that's 9,000. Now you'll spot the deliberate mistake there. I only found the exact figure of 9,000, and that's because I only typed in the question itself. And if I right click on here and choose zoom, then we can see the parameter in a little bit more detail. Without having to put it in, what that effectively is equals please enter the lowest capacity. So whatever figure we typed in, 9,000, that's what it returned. But we can use the more than and less than signs. So if I change that to more than the lowest capacity, it will show me all the grounds more than whatever I type in. Let's try that. Click on OK. Run the query. Enter the lowest capacity, 9,000. Click on OK. And they're showing me all the grounds with a capacity of more than 9,000. Look at one more extension to this, because you can enter more than one question in there. I'm just going to zoom in again to make it easier to see. So I'll right click and choose zoom, and there we've got the zoom dialog box. So there's our question, more than the lowest capacity. Let's find out the largest capacity as well, so we can put an and less than another question. Please enter the highest capacity. So we got more than a value entered by the user and less than a value entered by the user, allowing us to find all the records between those two values. Let's run it and see what happens. Let's have the lowest capacity of 8,000. Click on OK. There's the second question. Let's find the grounds less than 12,000. And OK. And hopefully there's all the grounds that have got a capacity of more than 8,000 and less than 12,000. So that's parameter queries, which is basically getting the computer to ask a question, and the result of that question goes in to the criteria box, and we eliminate the question by using the square brackets. Parameter queries.